Two men who built empires on attention sat down in front of the same microphones, both convinced they were the one in control. 10 minutes of missing audio nearly destroyed them. What happened in that silent gap between Joe Rogan and Logan Paul was never meant to be heard, but once you know why it was cut, you'll never listen to another interview the same way again. "All right, we're rolling," Joe said, voice steady, that familiar half-grin bleeding through the mic. "Logan Paul is in the house, ladies and gentlemen." Logan leaned in just close enough for listeners to hear the smirk. "You finally got me, Joe." "I didn't get you," Joe replied. "You asked to come on a beat." Logan let it hang. "Exactly. This time, I wanted the long-form version of me on record." Joe huffed a quiet laugh. "All right. Long-form version. Let's do it. You've had, what, a decade of internet chaos? Vines, Japan, boxing, crypto, wrestling, Prime, the whole circus. People think you're either the king of reinvention or the king of bullshit. Which one are you?" "I'm the guy still here when everyone said I'd be gone," Logan said. "That's the only label that matters." "That's not an answer," Joe said calmly. "Surviving isn't the same as changing." "I did change," Logan shot back. "People just like the old mistakes better than the new work." Joe let that sit for a second. "Okay. Let's talk about the mistakes, then. Crypto zoo. A lot of people lost money. A lot of people think you ran when it burned." Logan exhaled through his nose, a sharp little laugh. "We're really opening with that?" "You said you wanted the long-form version," Joe replied. "This is what long-form is. No trailer, no teaser, just the real thing." "The real thing," Logan repeated. "Yeah. That's what every host says right before they cut the worst parts into a viral clip." There it was. The first flash of teeth. Joe didn't flinch. "You think that's what I do?" "I think you're better at it than most," Logan said. "You make people feel safe while you pull the pin." "So why sit here?" Joe asked. "If you think I'm walking around with a grenade?" "Because I'm tired of pretending I'm not holding one too," Logan said quietly. "I'm not here to be interviewed, Joe. I'm here to even the playing field." In the control room, the producer glanced up. That was not on the prep sheet. Joe adjusted his headphones. "All right. Let's even it. I'll ask this as clean as I can. With CryptoZoo, did you know people were going to get screwed, or were you just stupid?" Logan smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Great choice of options. Those are the ones people believe," Joe said. "Pick one or give me a third." "The third is, I trusted the wrong people, got in too deep, and then every move I made to fix it got framed as a lie," Logan said. "The internet doesn't want nuance. It wants a villain. I was convenient." "Convenient villain still has victims," Joe said. "Do you feel responsible for them?" "Yeah," Logan replied. "I do. That's why there's refunds." "Not for everyone," Joe said. "I've read the emails." Logan's jaw tightened. "And I've read yours." Joe blinked once. "What does that mean?" "You're not the only one with a research team," Logan said. "You talk about accountability, but you've had your own messes. Old clips. Old jokes. People you platformed. You get to learn in public and move on. I get hung with a noose called influencer and left swinging." "That's fair," Joe said slowly. "I've screwed up. A lot. People have every right to call me on it. But I don't run from those questions. That's why this show exists. You came here. Let's not turn this into a competition over who's more cancelled." "You started that race," Logan said. "I'm just not jogging behind you pretending this is therapy." For a moment, the energy shifted from banter to something sharper, metallic. Joe leaned forward. "Okay. Let's drop the therapy. Let's talk power. You have an audience that will follow you almost anywhere. Kids drink what you drink, Wear what you wear, bet on whatever you hype. Do you actually feel the weight of that, or is it just numbers on a dashboard? Logan's voice dropped half an octave. You think you don't have that same power? I'm asking about you, Joe said. We'll get to me. See? Logan said, a little laugh escaping. There it is. We'll get to me. But we never really do, right? Because you're the host, you're the neutral ground, you're just asking questions. That's literally the job, Joe replied. Or the shield, Logan said. Depends how honest you want to be. The listeners couldn't see it, but Joe's shoulders stayed loose. Years of fighters, politicians, scientists, lunatics. He recognized the rhythm, charm, parry, counterattack. Logan wasn't here just to talk. He was here to win. Okay, Joe said. Let's be honest, then. How many people are watching this right now in your head? In my head? Logan repeated. Wrong question. What's the right one? Joe asked. How many are watching it for real? Logan said. Not just your audience. Joe frowned slightly. It'll be millions when it drops. Not when it drops, Logan said. Right now. The silence that followed wasn't dead air. It was confusion sharpening into something else. Joe tilted his head. What are you saying? Logan smiled, a thin, satisfied thing. Your show records. My world streams. I don't come into a room like this anymore without my own angle. Logan, Joe said, voice suddenly careful, are you telling me you're streaming this somewhere? Not the polished version, Logan said. The raw feed. My people are watching in real time. No editors. No cuts. No missing context. No missing 10 minutes. In the booth, every head snapped up. Joe's eyes hardened just enough that you could hear it. You cleared that with my team? They cleared having me here, Logan replied. If you want authenticity, you can't complain when someone brings their own mirror. That's not a mirror, Joe said. That's a breach of trust. Trust is what people say when they mean control, Logan shot back. You're just mad you're not the only one holding the footage now. The temperature in the room changed, even through audio. The casual listeners heard it as tension. The producers heard it as liability. Joe kept his voice level. All right. Let's say your secret stream is real. Why? Insurance? Protection, Logan said. I'm done walking into other people's arenas and hoping they don't Frankenstein me in post. If this goes sideways, my people see the whole thing. Start to finish. You walked into my house and put cameras in the walls, Joe said. You don't see a problem with that? I walked into your house and brought my own memory, Logan replied. You don't like that because your power has always been in the edit, not the conversation. Careful, Joe said quietly. My power is in showing up for the conversation even when it makes me look bad. That's the difference. The difference, Logan said, is that when you look bad, it's a plot point in a redemption arc. When I look bad, it's my obituary. Joe took a breath, then another. When he spoke again, his tone had changed, still calm, but sharper, like the edge had turned toward something vital. All right, he said. No edits. No cuts. Assume your secret stream is the only version that survives. I want you to answer one question like there is no audience. None. If nobody could ever see this, nobody to clap or cancel you, who would you actually be sorry to? Logan blinked. Just once, but enough. I'm sorry to the people who believe the worst about me, he started. No, Joe interrupted, the first real interruption of the night. That's brand talk. I said no audience. Who, specifically, do you picture when the cameras are off and it's just you and that thing in your chest that won't shut up? Logan stared at the table for a beat too long. My brother, he finally said, voice thinner. Because he had to carry the backlash. Because he still answers for me when I'm not in the room. Joe nodded, slow, almost gentle. That's real. Stay there. Stay in that place. When you pushed CryptoZoo, when you pushed the bullshit, were you thinking about him? Logan swallowed. No. Who were you thinking about? Joe asked. Me, Logan said. Winning. Not being the joke. Ever again. And that's the addiction, Joe said softly. You don't actually care who gets hurt as long as the meme isn't on your face. Logan's chair creaked. You don't get to diagnose me, man. I'm not diagnosing, Joe said. I'm noticing. You came in here with a secret stream because you're so terrified of being cut wrong that you're willing to burn trust to protect the image. That's not strength. That's panic in designer clothes. Logan laughed once, humorless. And you're not terrified at all? You've never cut anyone to protect your brand? Sure I have, Joe said. I've gotten it wrong. I've platformed the wrong people. But here's the difference, I'll say it. Out loud. On my own show. Without a lawyer behind a glass wall. I'm saying it now, Logan shot back. You're saying you're afraid of the edit, Joe replied. Not that you were wrong. Logan's voice went flat. I was wrong. Happy? I messed up. I got greedy. I trusted idiots. I hurt people. There. Clip it. Title it Logan Paul finally admits everything. Put fire emojis in the thumbnail. Joe held the silence like a mirror. Did you mean it, he asked quietly, or did you just design it? Something flickered in Logan's tone. You don't get to decide what's real for me. I don't, Joe said. But your audience will try. Mine will, too. And that's the thing none of us want to admit, right? We don't talk like humans anymore. We talk like drafts we hope the internet approves. Speak for yourself, Logan snapped. I talk like someone who knows there's always a camera on. Exactly, Joe said. You don't know how to stop performing. And you do? Logan asked. Please. You're the calm guru of chaos. The guy who can sit with anyone and look like the sane one. You think that's not a performance? Of course it is, Joe said. Difference is, I know it. You still think you're the rawest guy in the room while hiding a whole second show in your pocket. In the booth, the producer scribbled something on a notepad and held it up to the glass. Legal? Joe saw the movement, didn't look away from Logan. You realize, he said, secretly streaming this could get you sued. You realize, Logan replied, leaking one clip sentence could get me killed online. We all got weapons, Joe. Mine just happened to be on. The room felt smaller now, even through headphones. The conversation had folded in on itself, no longer about crypto, or scandal, or even redemption. It was about who owned the story. All right, Joe said finally. Let's stop dancing. I'll ask you something no brand deck can prep you for. Turn off the imaginary crowd in your head for 5 seconds. When this is over, when the streams die, and there's no comment section, no analytics, who are you if nobody's watching? Logan's reply came out too fast. Nobody. The word hung there, naked. He realized it as soon as it left his mouth. Tried to cover. I mean, that's the job, right? He added quickly. We're nothing without the audience. You too. Don't pretend you're above it. Yeah, Joe said slowly. That's the scariest thing you've said all night. You asked for honesty, Logan muttered. I did, Joe said. I just didn't expect you to hand me your whole wiring diagram in one sentence. A red light blinked on the console in the booth. 2 hours in. The producer tapped his watch. Joe ignored it. He wasn't done. Last thing, he said, eyes locked on Logan. Not for the clip. Not for the secret stream. For you. You keep saying you're tired of being the villain. You want people to see the long form you. But every move you make is still about control. Control the edit. Control the angle. Control the audience. At what point do you admit you're not chasing redemption, you're just chasing the feeling of never being smaller than the room? Logan's nostrils flared. You don't know me. I know the pattern, Joe said. And I know what it does to people around you. Logan leaned in, voice suddenly cold. You think staying calm means you're right. You're not. You're just better at hiding the fact that you need them as badly as I do. Maybe, Joe said. But I don't bring a secret camera into someone else's house and call it honesty. That's because your house is the internet's church, Logan snapped. Everybody confesses here and you get to be the priest. Today, I refuse to kneel. That's the real problem, isn't it? For the first time all episode, Joe's calm cracked, just a hairline fracture in the tone. The problem, he said slowly, is thinking resistance is the same thing as strength. Sometimes it's just fear with better PR. The silence that followed felt like a wall. In the booth, the producer mouthed, "Rap." Joe stared at Logan, then at the clock, then at the faint glow of the on-air light. All right, he said, voice steady but done. We're going to stop here. Already? Logan asked, that smirk fighting its way back. Thought you were the king of 3-hour talks. Not this time, Joe said. Cut the feed. The producer hesitated. Joe repeated, firmer, cut it. The on-air light snapped off. Officially, the conversation ended there. Unofficially, it was where the real show began. Because while the main recording stopped, Logan's secret stream didn't. For 10 more minutes, in a room that thought it had gone dark, voices rose, chairs scraped, lawyers' names got thrown around. Two empires of attention finally talked without pretending the listeners came first. Those 10 minutes leaked in fragments. A transcript here. A muffled clip there. Enough to scorch both brands, not enough to prove anything cleanly. The episode that finally dropped a month later was tidy, almost polite. No mention of a hidden stream. No 10-minute war. Just tension, philosophy, and the illusion of control. But if you listen closely, really listen, you can hear it. The crack in Logan's voice when he says nobody. The edge in Joe's when he says cut the feed. And you realize the ugliest part of the whole scandal isn't what they said about each other. It's how easy it was for both of them to forget, even for a second, that behind every download and every view there are actual people listening, wondering which version of the truth they'll be allowed to hear.